All right, now, at least for this segment, let's forget about all the snow outside. Spring training is underway. You heard me right. The Mets practicing in Port St. Lucie. David Wright and the gang limbering up for the season yet to come. And that's enough of the Mets coverage for this season. We're talking real baseball, of course, in New York, and it's coming back to the Bronx here. And here to help us digest that and to help us warm up a little is Ed Randall. He, of course, the host of Ed Randall's Talking Baseball on WFAN and Remember When on Sirius XM Radio. Ed, I really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
Richard, great to be with you.
Well, let's, of course, start with the big news this week. Derek Jeter's announcement that this, in fact, will be his final season. Put his career in context, both in terms of all-time shortstops and then also as an all-time Yankee. Where does he fall?
Well, among all-time shortstops, he's certainly in the conversation. I don't know where you put him. He's certainly right up there with Pie Traynor of the Pittsburgh Pirates, who played at the early part of the 20th century, and he can go by him if he gets, I believe it's 116 more hits, as the all-time best hitting shortstop in the history of baseball. As far as the pantheon of great New York Yankees, where do you put them? You probably put Ruth and Gehrig 1 and 2, and Derek Jeter could be right there or behind DiMaggio. It's unbelievable to think that on every other team, most other teams, yep, he might be first or second, and on the New York Yankees, he might be fourth or fifth.
Exactly, and Berra and the rest. What do you think? Is it those iconic moments that made him obviously so beloved for Yankee fans and seemingly throughout baseball, or was it something more? It really seemed to be a career that you had to try, and even if you did, you couldn't find him doing something wrong, either disrespecting the game here in any way or not playing it the right way. It seems his respect's universal throughout the game.
It's not just about his achievement on the field. It's about the citizenship that he's displayed towards the game of baseball. He's never forgotten his place. It's always been about team first. But most importantly, he's come from a family that told him we are all part of one unit and we don't disrespect or misbehave. And it's been extraordinary that this guy, who has played baseball in New York since 1996, has never had a scintilla of scandal around him. And I think that's why he's beloved and has become an iconic figure. He truly has become a role model.
And it's amazing the old-timers talking about him with as much reverence as the people who played in his generation and even those coming up. Ed, the Yankees obviously went all in this offseason, and it's not just with obviously Mr. Tanaka coming over with much fanfare. Spent a lot of money on both the outfield, behind the plate here. Talk about if those investments you think will translate into possibly a sixth ring in Jeter's final season here. Do you think they spent money wisely? They sure spent enough of it.
Well, they sure spent enough of it, and I don't know if we can really speculate as to how whether the money will be a worthwhile investment. We're talking in the vicinity of $474 million, and really it was a necessity more than anything else by virtue of the fact that their farm system has been bereft of talent for so many years, vis-a-vis the fact that they have never developed a left-handed starting pitcher of consequence since Andy Pettitte. That's kind of hard to imagine, so therefore they really had no choice but to go into the free agent market. And it's very difficult to say that that sort of expenditure will cure all ills. I think that the catcher that they brought in, Brian McCann, could become the leader that succeeds Jeter. I think he's going to be huge for them. But Ellsbury has questions because of a past history of injuries. Carlos Beltran, terrific ball player, but these are all old players. Brian Roberts at second base. Who's going to play third base? We don't know. Teixeira with a chronic wrist injury at first base. So many questions for the Yankees. We'll see if that money pays off.
You know, there's changes in baseball this year. Obviously, catcher collisions, instant replay, C-League's final year. Talk about, to the casual fan or even those who follows the game, what changes you think are going to be in store this year that's going to look different than prior years?
Well, I think the biggest change, obviously, for baseball this year, in Bud Selig's final year as commissioner of baseball, will be the implantation of expanded replay. About 90% of plays in baseball now are going to be reviewable, and I commend baseball and the players' union and the umpires for coming together on this agreement. I think the most important aspect of the game is to get it right. We have the technology, and I'm looking forward to that so that we can find out once and for all if a guy at first base was safe or out. I think that that's very important for the integrity of the game.
You know, finally, Ed, there's something different about spring training and I guess hope springing eternal. Sure, there's OTAs for football. You've got, training camps in both hockey, basketball, but it's not the same. Can you articulate, you've been around this game as long as you have, what makes spring training so special here and why people mark and circle on the calendar when pitchers and catchers report?
I think, Richard, you put your finger on it, and that's exactly it. The fact that people do circle their calendars, it's one of the distinguishing aspects of baseball, and you don't have anything like that in football or basketball or in hockey. Nobody cares. It's a lot, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a baseball guy. Nobody cares. Nobody says, oh, quarterbacks and receivers are July. Come on. It's about the great tradition of baseball, dating back to a time when baseball was undeniably the national pastime. That plus the fact that we have the most important Hall of Fame is two of the most distinguishing factors, I think, that sets the game apart.
You still like it? You still like not just the grind of it, but you like going down to Port St. Lucie or Tampa or, I mean, you're national, so you're going to probably Arizona too. Does it still have the same magic?
Oh, it's just, I can remember vividly, I was just thinking about that because I'm making plans to go shortly, and I can still remember, and I was thinking about this just yesterday, it's funny you should ask, that when the doors opened, the automatic doors opened in Phoenix, and I was there to cover spring training in Arizona, just the feeling of the warm air was just so invigorating. To be away from the cold weather, it was just tremendous, and now with the winter that we've been experiencing, and more than ever, I'm looking forward to having the privilege of being able to go to spring training.
I guarantee you there's people watching you tonight, Ed, that would like to stow away in your luggage to flee the metropolitan area in the winter we've had here. Ed Randall, thank you so much. I really appreciate it for you.
Richard, thank you for having me.
And speaking of the weather here, when we come back, everybody, we are going to be joined by Jeff Denoyer, who is a fantastic meteorologist, but growing more and more unpopular with the more and more snow that we've been getting. And believe it or not, we're going to be getting a little bit more tomorrow. He's going to give us a quick idea of the forecast, and maybe, just maybe, if next week we may thaw out. Stay with us. We'll be right back on RFL.